Hi everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy at closeoutexplosion.com. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I'd like to discuss with you what I believe the most important thing you should do before buying any pallet of merchandise. Whether you're buying a pallet of merchandise from Walmart or you're buying a pallet of merchandise from Best Buy, from Sears, from Kmart, from Macy's, from JCPenney, from wherever you're buying your pallet of merchandise, you need to go directly to the retailer and look at the stuff that they're selling in their store. And the reason is that when you're looking at a listing online, it's very easy to get excited by the numbers, right? You could see a pallet of Walmart, for example. I just looked at a pallet recently. It was a pallet of clothing, I believe it's store returns, and it had 3 pallets in the lot. It was the average retail, or the total retail, was about $18,000, about 2,000 pieces, giving you an average retail price per piece of about $9. And the last time that I checked, the auction had about an hour to go, and it was at 59 cents per piece for clothing. So I mean, it sounds really good, right? You're getting, a $9 piece of clothing for, let's say, 60 cents, maybe another 20 cents per piece for the shipping. So you're going to be paying 80 cents per piece for a $9 item. So that sounds great. Now, first thing you have to keep in mind that it is returns. So returns are going to have a high percentage of damaged merchandise, could be 20-25%, but irrespective of whether it's overstock or returns, irrespective if it's even returns and somehow everything's in brand new condition, you have to go to the retailer to look at the merchandise in the first place. Because when you go into a Walmart and you see the kind of clothing that the Walmart is selling, then you're going to know whether that clothing can work for your customers or not. If you have a store in Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to need different type of merchandise than someone that has a store in Guyana. And if you have a store in Guyana, you're going to need different type of merchandise than someone that has a store in Lakewood or Abuja or in New York. The idea is that although you're getting the clothing at a very low price, you have to make sure that that clothing works for you. Another reason why you needed to go to a retailer and why it's so important to go to a retailer is because you want to see the clothing that is being brought by customers. You could go to the area where the clothing is being returned, take a look at the clothing and see what condition is the clothing generally being brought in. Is the clothing being returned because people just simply changed their mind, they didn't like the style, maybe they were reluctant, about paying what the price they paid for it, and now they just want to get their money back for it. Maybe they felt they paid, too much for a pair of jeans, or maybe they just bought a shirt and they took it back home and they're like, they don't like the color so much. Or are people bringing back clothing to Walmart because they're wearing it and then they don't like it anymore and it's getting dirty, it gets torn, and in that case, you wouldn't want to buy a return from Walmart because you would know that the merchandise is in very bad condition. Now, you might discover, and I have a feeling this is the reality, that about, let's say, 20 to 25% of the clothing is being brought back because the clothing either was damaged and the customer didn't notice it, or the clothing got damaged, and the other percentage of the clothing is being brought back, for many other reasons. It was a gift, the person didn't want it, they changed their mind about the color, the style, maybe the size wasn't right, they thought they needed a medium, they didn't try it on at the store, they brought the shirt home and they discovered they need a large or they need a small, and in that case, that clothing could work for you. You also have to take a look at the clothing and see when it's being brought back, are the original labels and tags still on the clothing? If they're not, you have to factor that in. Some people, when they look at clothing, if it doesn't have the original tag on it, then they might assume that it's used. If it does have the tag on it, of course it's an advantage. And that's another thing you need to find out. When you're buying clothing by the pallet or buying any merchandise by the pallet, is the clothing or is the merchandise coming in the original packaging? And even if it is, are you required to take apart that packaging? Are you required to remove the tags or the labels? Because if you are, that's going to impact the selling potential of the merchandise. And if you don't have to take it off, then that's great. It'll, more of the merchandise will retain more of its value. But the thing is, you're only going to know this information by visiting the retailer. If you cannot visit the retailer yourself, the second best step is to go to their website and take a look at the type of merchandise that they sell, and that'll give you an idea what kind of merchandise they sell. And what I still recommend is to go online, read reviews about the retailer, not just reviews about people who bought the pallets. That's fine, but when people write reviews after they bought a pallet of merchandise, they're writing the reviews from the perspective of a reseller. You want to look at the reviews written by consumers who have actually shopped at the location of the retailer, so you can see if consumers like the clothing or the electronics that are being sold, and what issues they had with that merchandise, and then you can make a better decision if it makes sense for your business for you to buy that overstocked pallet or that store return pallet. I hope you enjoyed this video. My website is closeoutexplosion.com. The next time you're in New York, you're welcome to visit my warehouse. Thank you and have an amazing day. You can also order online through the website.